One summer afternoon, Jane and her boyfriend Edward frolicked towards Sanford Woodlot.
Indiana is now the latest state where the West Nile virus has infected humans, prompting the director of the Centers for Disease Control to declare this more than just a dangerous outbreak.
But when you see something that's involving so many people in so many states, I think it's probably helpful to think of it as an expanding, emerging infectious disease epidemic.
There are now 136 cases of human infection across at least 6 states and the District of Columbia, Indiana being the latest. Now 7 people in Louisiana have died. And Mississippi is investigating whether a recent death there could bring the toll to 8. So far, there is no vaccine for humans. But if this week is like last week, health officials warn the number of human infections could easily double.
Oh my God. Did you guys hear about Jane?
No, what happened to Jane?
My best friend knows her cousin, and he says that she has West Nile virus and is in the hospital.
No. Really?
Yeah, like it sounds pretty serious. I guess she was like out in the woods and got bit by like a mosquito or something. But that's just what I hear. That's nice.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sounds really serious.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of freaking out.
Well, did you guys see that article in the paper a couple days ago? Yeah, it was all about West Nile, and they made it sound like a big epidemic.
Alright, I think you guys are being ridiculous, and I think it's way being hyped. And I think before we draw any conclusion and gets all panicky and worried, then we should go and research this first.
What do you know about West Nile virus?
West Nile, to be honest, I don't really know a lot about it. What they talk about on the news, but that you can get it from mosquitoes.
A couple of years ago, I remember just like in the summertime being like really scared, you know, I'd get it, or like I would stay away from like forested areas because like there'd be more mosquitoes in that spot or whatever.
So you don't fear it?
I'm not really worried about it, no.
I don't put myself in a situation where I get stung by very many mosquitoes.
I always saw it on TV, like it was like a huge deal. And like always, yeah, pictures of mosquitoes and what it could do to you. But...
Okay. So you did things differently to prevent it?
I definitely did. If I went out at night, if even just like to a bonfire or something, I definitely put probably way too much off on and all that stinky stuff.
The standard definition of an epidemic is when people or animals are afflicted with a disease in numbers that is far greater than the normal background level or usual rate of expected disease. Certainly West Nile is a good example of an epidemic. In 1999 and then subsequently in 2000, it sort of exploded into the United States and quickly traveled across the country. So from the space of 1999 to 2002, 2003, it had entered the U.S. and extended all the way to California. Overall, I think I've come to appreciate the media as being a very effective tool for communication with the public. They, through radio and print and television, can reach far more people than can health departments and physicians in a very short amount of time. The media picks up on the fact that it is new or different or previously unknown. They do want to find, I think, the worst case scenario and highlight that.
West Nile virus is a mosquito-transmitted virus. It also infects birds in nature, and it can infect humans and horses and other kinds of animals and cause disease. But the natural transmission cycle involves certain kinds of mosquito, called Culex mosquitoes, and then also certain species of birds. Birds vary in their susceptibility to infection. Some birds are infected by mosquito bite but don't appear to get any disease at all, whereas other birds, such as crows and blue jays, owls, eagles and hawks, rapidly become sick and die after they're infected. It's a chicken and egg thing, and by that I mean, birds are not infected for very long, maybe a week or so, and mosquitoes, once they're infected, are infected for their lifetime. And so mosquitoes, when they're infected, may infect birds by bite, and birds, during the short period of time that they're infected, that is to say, have virus circulating in their bloodstream, which is called viremia, are infective to uninfected mosquitoes that bite them. So it's a cycle, and the virus perpetuates itself in those two populations that way. As far as we know, the mosquitoes do not become sick, but they do carry the virus, and the mosquitoes are not just mechanical transmitters. They actually harbor virus infection and eventually get an infection in their salivary glands. The estimates are in the 1 per 100,000 range in terms of incidence, which is an epidemiological measure of infection. And it has been measured in several different studies. It's a little bit hard to measure because a lot of people are exposed but don't get sick. A small fraction of people that are exposed to mosquito bites get sick but not very sick. They get something called West Nile fever, which is a course of infection leading to headache and fever, but not enough for them to maybe go to the doctor, or they might lose a few days of work. And then the final fraction, this is a very small number of people, are those people that develop West Nile virus meningoencephalitis, in which the virus crosses the blood-brain barrier and infects the brain and spinal cord. And that can be very severe and can lead to death. And my interactions with the media have been that they are not interested in details of a situation. They are interested in a brief synopsis of something that in this case is complex. I would say that the media has done two different things. A, they have underestimated the risk, and B, they have overestimated the risk. They've done both. In the first year that we had West Nile virus introduced into Michigan, where there was a lot of human disease, our surveillance data, in my opinion, showed that it was amplifying and that we were reaching levels of risk to people. However, the media assumed that that risk was not going to be very high. And the reason they made that assumption was because I think they were listening to scenarios from other parts of the country and sort of synthesizing information, putting information together in a kind of an ad hoc way. And in doing that, then they took the scientific information and distilled it down to a, don't worry about it, don't go out in the evening, dump out your bird bath, wear repellent type of message. And that message was repeated and recycled through all kinds of media. And we still had 644 cases and about 60 deaths. And that's probably underrepresenting our true incidence by about a factor of 5. And so, and those numbers can be supported. So that's what I mean by underestimating. Now, overestimating, even if there were 2,500 or 3,000 cases in Michigan, That's still not very many people in a state with 9 million people.